Supreme Overlord Zaxthor of the Eternal Empire stood before the Emergency Council, his normally pristine metallic scales dulled with stress. The holographic displays around him showed scenes that should have been impossible. Imperial warships reduced to debris, fortress worlds breached, and supply lines shattered. "We should have listened to the warnings," he said, his translator struggling to maintain its usual imperial tone. "We should have heeded the signs." The council chamber, carved from an entire moon, felt oppressively empty. Half the seats stood vacant, their occupants already surrendered to the humans, or worse. "They were primitive," protested High Commander Verthal, though his voice wavered. "Their technology was centuries behind ours. Their ships were practically held together with adhesive strips and optimism." "And that," Zaxthor replied, "was precisely what we failed to understand." The holograms shifted to show footage from the first engagement, 3 months ago. The Empire, in its infinite wisdom, had decided to annex the human colony world of New Eden. It should have been simple, a standard display of overwhelming force, followed by inevitable submission. They had sent a fleet of 1,000 ships, each one a masterpiece of engineering perfection. The humans had responded with vessels that looked cobbled together from spare parts, commanded by a Captain Sarah Chen. "Attention Imperial Fleet," she had broadcast. "We would prefer to resolve this peacefully. However, if you proceed with this invasion, understand that humanity will respond with everything we have. This is your only warning." The Empire, of course, had laughed. What could these primitives possibly do against the most advanced civilization in known space? Now, 3 months later, they understood. Their apparent technological inferiority was deceptive. Zaxthor continued, bringing up tactical analyses. "They didn't advance along the expected paths because they never stopped exploring alternatives. While we perfected our quantum drives, they were developing 100 different ways to travel through space. While we standardized our weapon systems, they were inventing new ways to fight every day." The displays showed human ships using tactics that defied conventional warfare. They turned their primitive fusion drives into weapons, used gravitational slingshots in ways that seemed suicidal, and somehow managed to network their ships' computers in ways that Imperial cybersecurity couldn't comprehend. "But surely our numbers," Verthal began. "Numbers?" Zaxthor laughed bitterly. "We thought we were being generous offering them terms of surrender after taking their colony. We thought we were being merciful." He paused, his scales shifting color with emotion. "We didn't realize we had just united every human in existence against us." The displays showed more footage. Civilian cargo ships retrofitted into combat vessels, mining platforms converted to fortress stations, and research facilities pumping out innovations at impossible speeds. Every human, from every walk of life, had contributed to the war effort. Their engineers work in ways that ignore proper protocols, finding solutions we considered impossible. Their tactics evolve faster than our predictive algorithms can analyze, and their determination. He gestured to a recording of a human ship, critically damaged, ramming itself into an Imperial dreadnought's weak point. "They never stop. They never give up. Every defeat just makes them more resolved." "Then we must sue for peace," another counselor suggested. "We're far past that point," Zaxthor replied. "The humans aren't fighting for territory or resources. They're fighting because we threaten their people. They're fighting to ensure no one ever makes the same mistake we did." The chamber doors opened, and a human delegation entered. Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen, led them. Her uniform was less ornate than the imperial regalia around her, but she carried herself with an authority that made the counselors shrink back. "Your surrender terms are simple," she announced without preamble. "The Eternal Empire will be dissolved. Your subjected worlds will be freed. Your technology will be shared with all species you've dominated. And you will acknowledge in every historical record that your empire fell not because humanity was stronger or more advanced, but because you made the mistake of thinking technological superiority was all that mattered in a war." Zaxthor signed the surrender without hesitation, As the humans departed, he turned to his council one last time. "Let it be recorded," he said, "that our greatest mistake wasn't challenging humanity in battle. Our greatest mistake was believing that progress only moved in one direction. We saw their different approach to technology as primitive. We saw their variety as chaos. We saw their adaptability as desperation." He looked at the footage of human ships, still innovating, still fighting in ways that imperial tactical doctrines said were impossible. We forgot that evolution doesn't always favor the most advanced species. Sometimes it favors the ones who never stop learning, never stop adapting, never stop finding new ways to survive. We thought we were the peak of civilization. The humans proved that there is no peak, only the constant climb upward. The official imperial surrender document would later be amended with a warning to future civilizations. Before you consider humanity primitive, remember, they don't need to be more advanced than you to defeat you. They just need you to believe they are less advanced than they are. The galaxy's greatest warriors aren't the ones with the best weapons, but the ones who never stop inventing new ways to fight.